Bill Lynn is going to be the #2 at the Pentagon, and he is going to break the new rule that Obama has. The rule is no lobbyist can come after working with, corporation working as a lobbyist, lobbying the White House, can come before 2 years and work in the Obama administration. The problem is Bill Lynn, up until he moves into the administration, is 100% a lobbyist for Raytheon, I believe that's how we pronounce it, and that is one of the largest defense contractors, and he is definitely, doing governmental services, outreach, which is a code word for lobbyists. So there's no ands, ifs, or buts about it. And there's one other person that is also an issue for this lobbyist rule. So now the question is, one, how are they going to handle this? And does that mean Bill Lynn is going to be on his way out if they're serious about this rule? And or do they have to violate the rule? The other person is Bill Corr, who is apparently not within the strictures of that new Obama rule. And they've been evading questions on for a little bit, not for a long time, but for a little bit of time here. And it's it's an entirely fair question. Two, I'm not sure exactly how they're supposed to handle it. And this is the problem with, the whole government is going to be open and we're going to have wonderful new ethics rules. And by the way, we're going to violate them from time to time because it's too hard. I mean, you can't, if you ask me, is it realistic in the first place to say that you're going to get 100%, a rule that works 100% of the time? I just don't think it's realistic. So if I was Obama's team, this is how I would handle it. I would come out and say, look, these two people are not within the rule. And if they believe strongly that they need to keep them, that they absolutely positively need them in the administration, I would say, look, we are going to make an exception for them, but we're being very open about it. Here it is. Yes, they did work as lobbyists. Yes, they're going to recuse themselves from, any issue that is even vaguely related to their former company, and we're going to have somebody else deal with it, and we've got a procedure in place for that. And I would rather, this is what I would say, I would rather have a rule that works 98% of the time than no rule at all. Because if you have no rule at all, then you could have lobbyists all over the government. And here I'm making an exception, and here where they can BS it a little bit, or maybe it's true. I'm making the exception because I think it's so important to national security, and I got to have this guy. So I think if he handled it that way, people would say, yeah, that's unfortunate that he's already breaking his own rule, but we get why, and you can't have 100% of it, compliance on every single rule. I like that the reporters are being more aggressive with the Obama administration, and when you're more open, they're going to be more aggressive. That's how it works, okay? And if you didn't think that was going to happen, then you're not realistic. And because of that, ironically, he will take more criticism than the Bush administration. I mean, look, think about it. We got a guy who worked as a lobbyist. Obama has a new rule against that. That's why this is causing a stink, right? Bush didn't have any such rule. So everybody that worked in the Bush administration was previously lobbyists. Not everybody, of course, that's a gross exaggeration. But the whole place was littered with former lobbyists. In fact, they would hire the lobbyists to run the group that they were lobbying. So they take a guy who used to lobby the EPA to not have any rules at all constricting companies from polluting more, and they'd make him, the #2 at the EPA, and he would secretly run the place. So the difference between Obama and Bush is night and day in how they're handling it. But yet, ironically, Obama takes a little bit more heat for it. You see how that works? And it's based on expectations. And so, is that a little unfair? Hell yeah. I mean, think about this. The vice president sent emails from his office saying, give no-bid contracts to my former company. That, if Obama's vice president, if Joe Biden had done that, the world would explode. Oh, they're hypocrites. They're the worst. And part of it I get. It's natural. Think about it this way. You know how we go after the Republicans when they do family values? Family values against gay, and then gays and la 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 la, and then they get caught with a gay prostitute. And we go ballistic, right? And the reason we go ballistic is because of their hypocrisy. So that's why the reporters are a little bit more on this situation, because they want to catch Obama's hypocrisy, especially because he's presenting this wholesome image. But I don't want you to lose track of what the real transgressions are. The transgressions here, if any, are small. The transgressions in the Bush administration on the same exact issue were gigantic. And the press did almost nothing about it under Bush. Now, that doesn't mean that Obama gets a free pass, but just keep it in perspective.